It's a time of elections and reckoning and history as we come up to the D-Day landings anniversary on the 6th of June, as we approach the general election, with Conservative papers now saying that the Conservatives are aiming for a 66-seat minority, that they're going to lose, that they're going to get barely 66 seats. I think that's a scare tactic to try and encourage voters to get out and vote. My own hunch is that they won't, because there's no reason to, and Rishi Sunak has not managed to provide anything so far in the first week of the election campaign that will encourage people in Middle England to get out and vote for the Conservative Party. Why would they? And I think people are, for the most part, the old Conservative voters, for the most part, are resigned to a Labour win, mostly because the priorities of the present Conservative Party are not priorities that Middle England, One Nation, Tories, that sort of thing, are interested in supporting. They're not interested in the Rwanda plan. They're not interested in being nasty to foreigners simply to bulk up our own self-respect after a disastrous implementation of Brexit. Whether you like Brexit or not, Brexit has been appallingly implemented. So much so that it took a senior cabinet minister, former whip, over 2 years to try and repair some of the damage left by Lord Frost, who thought that he could stand for election as a member of the House of Commons when he was already in the House of Lords, ennobled by his chum. No, it's simply not possible. Lord Frost was a twit, and the deal that he struck with Europe was a deal based on arrogance and stupidity. There is nothing positive that I can see about Brexit. If somebody in the comments would like to tell me what are the Brexit bonuses, I would be very happy to hear and to listen to them. But it's not only the loss of Britain through Brexit that this Conservative government has presided over, it's also the loss of our reputation in general terms. So, I mean, you know, our chaotic election is going forward, and the sea change of representation is happening for us, as it is, for example, in South Africa with the collapse of the ANC vote. It's not going to lead, I think, to what is seriously a new direction in South Africa. It's going to lead possibly to some sort of power sharing agreement. But the ANC have lost the confidence of the people because of their corruption and stupidity. I could say the same about the Conservative Party here in the UK. And I think it's also encapsulated by the sort of people that we have empowered, ennobled, raised up to represent us. People like the ambassador in Mexico, John Benjamin, who pointed a gun at somebody. Not a small gun, a large gun, who pointed a gun at somebody in Mexico, in a place known for the drug heists and so on, and was caught on camera doing so. The arrogance and the madness of that foolhardy tomfoolery, it cannot be underestimated, but he sums up the spirit that was engendered by Conservative Brexit. It's a spirit of arrogance and contempt for others. And why are we surprised by the Rwanda plan? Arrogance and contempt for others. Why are we surprised about the Stop the Boats? Arrogance and contempt for others. And I'm not talking there about the others being the migrants or illegal migrants as defined by Suella Braverman. I'm talking about Europe. the ECHR, the rule of law, the principles of proper process, proroguing Parliament, accepting the international obligations that we are signed up for, the proper conventions. No, let's ride roughshod over everything. If we can get rid of Europe, we can get rid of anything that stands in the way of our personal prowess. This is all about being drunk with power, and it's an illusion of power because power is transitory, power goes like that. And the people currently in power will see that on July the 4th. And before that time, we will have the experience of celebrating the enormous sacrifices and the camaraderie of D-Day, something that is missing at the moment, because the people in power at the moment are in it for themselves. There are exceptions, of course, but so many of these people on both sides of the House, on all sides of the House, are in it for themselves and are desperate not to be caught out. And that is really sad. And I hope for a change around. I don't expect one, but I hope for one. And a lot of this mood is also reflected in the comments section and the obsession with being on this team or being on that team. No, life is about nuance. And there are good things and there are bad things on both teams. We draw a conclusion, maybe, but whoever we are, we draw a conclusion. But it shouldn't mean that we overlook the humanity and we overlook the opportunities for all that should be lying at the heart of our system. We have an appalling collapse of major utilities, major industries that are there to support us. The post office, in either a Post Office Limited or in Royal Mail, either of its manifestations, it is collapsing. The train system collapsing, despite all this fuss about HS2. That is a diversion. rather a significant point. The motorways collapsing. The NHS, of course, collapsing. And why? Because people are putting themselves before the system, before the regime, before the country. People are too keen to climb up the greasy pole, too keen on their own advantage, too keen on their pension and their profit. And their rules, let's make at least one commentator below very happy. They're bureaucracies.